And my pleasure to introduce Dr. Garcia for this speech tonight. Take a bow.
Come over here. You got to do the.
I'm doing the computer.
Well, I don't know. Where did Sarah go? I guess you
Just start. Start.
Okay. Okay. I'm Dr. Fred Garcia, and so here she comes. Here she comes. She's all okay. Don't touch it. I've given.
You can see we've done this thousands of times.
I have given talks
We've given
all
this
over.
thousands of times. This whole shenanigans. There she is.
Thank you.
All right. So he's all introduced.
My good friend.
You guys are in for a treat.
And what's happening now is wonderful. And I have a lot of friends here that are also my patients. I'm becoming friends with most of my patients. And that's really great. I'm not even sure that's ethical. Anyway, the bottom line, and it's too bad you didn't bring pen and paper. The bottom, oh, good for you. The bottom line is that all death, morbidity, and mortality, and suffering is due to the apathy of not using present information to address the problems. There are answers out there today that will help you with all aspects of your life, from your inners to your outers to what's between your ears. Okay? And I've spent 20 years of research and studying under some incredible people. And I've come up with a protocol that I believe. Well, first of all, it's a way to live. And that sounds very arrogant, and I hate saying that. But basically, what I'm going to tell you, it can't be argued with. It's all been proven. It's in the research paper. And here's my pledge to you. If there's anything I say you disagree with, or it's so outrageous you can't believe it, then take my card, email me, and ask for the author research paper. Everything I'm telling you as far as the medical, the external part of your bodies, it's all connected dots. It's all true, and I can prove it. So really, it can't be argued with. I really feel that I'm at the precipice looking out, And I've been here another time in my career, back when I was doing the research with artificial blood and blood-free surgery. Anyway, but what I'm seeing now is a major disconnect with how medicine is practiced and what the research is. And what happens, and this has happened over and over throughout the course of medicine, is American Western medicine is 20 to 30 years behind the research. Okay? Perfect example, is that penicillin was discovered in 1926. The first patient wasn't treated with penicillin until 1948. That's 20 years, and that was the biggest discovery of the 20th century. Yet it took them 20 years to use it. Okay?
So
what I am telling, what?
Why is that?
Why is that?
Why was that?
Here. Why is it? Good question. You're a plant. But progressive minds, like see if I can remember the quote. Progressive minds are opposed by lesser minds protecting the past, and that's been going on forever. Columbus, he knew the world was round. Copernicus, Galileo, they knew that the Earth was off the center of the universe, but they couldn't even say it. Why? Because that was against the church, and they had been burned in the States. Okay, now those are giants. Okay, but I see such a disconnect with what's going on and what we should be doing because of lack of information. But where I have it over those giants, Galileo and Copernicus and all of them, is that everything I'm telling you has already been proven. It's already been proven. There's no discussion. And I challenge anybody to anywhere, any debate of any kind, and I've done this before. Back in the 90s, I challenged heads of all the geriatric departments, the major ones, Stanford, UCLA, to come and debate me on because they were saying that vitamins were no good, and nutraceuticals were no good, whatever, but there was no proof. Well, there's no proof in the American medical journals because all they're about is drugs and more drugs. Now, I touched on this, and I need to say this before I go on. I taught for 13 years on the trauma ward at USC County. Saw every possible kind of gunshot wound, auto accident, horrible thing you can imagine. And those, I was an anesthesiologist, and those are the superstars. I mean, people that work in emergency medicine and trauma teams. I mean, we had children that were run over by trucks, and we saved them. Gunshot wounds, you know, like what happened in Arizona. Okay, as far as gunshot wound or car accident, American medicine is the best, bar none. It'll save your life. But that's not how we die. We die of chronic diseases, heart, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and in that instance, American medicine, I'm going to say it, it's mediocre to poor, because it's all about one drug after another. Oh gosh, I just, that's my first card, go. Well, see, this is amazing, because I have 2 hours, and I'll need it. Okay, is aging control in our future? That's the whole purpose of this lecture, is that I want you to leave here tonight with certain key things that you try to do the best you can. And the better you do, then the quicker the miracle will happen. And I've done this with hundreds of thousands of patients over the course of the last 15, 20 years. And it's all about healing your body, bring your body into balance and homeostasis. The best doctor is your body, okay? Because it knows how to heal you. You just got to give it the opportunity. Now, next one. Okay, healthy living. Okay, it's all about choices. The newest field, there's so many new fields in medicine, but one of the newest fields in medicine is epigenetics. Epigenetics tells us that whatever your genetic component is, whatever you got from your mother, your dad, your grandparents, okay, that's important, but it's not the most important thing. Because for every organ system, for every trait you have in your body, there is a gene. But now what they're finding is in that gene, there is anywhere from 100 to 1,000 odd infinitum of expressions, how that gene can express itself. So you have a heart gene that can be a healthy, vibrant heart, or a normal heart, or not so healthy heart, with maybe a valvular disease. What is the most amazing thing is those gene expressions are determined by our lifestyle. What we eat, if we have any bad habits, tobacco, etc. So what I'm saying is everybody has 100 U's in there. So what I want you to do with this knowledge, and it happens quick, because you turn over proteins every 60 days. 60 days, that's, okay? And so you can be different. I'm saying you follow this program, in 60 days you'll be a new person. Your proteins will turn over. You give them the right nutrients, and no more negative thinking. I'll teach you how to do that, what I'll do. Making the right choices. See, before, don't feel bad, because you didn't know before. You had bad habits, okay? And now I'm going to teach you good habits. If you don't do what I tell you, it's on you, okay? And anything you don't agree with, I can prove it, okay? It's all written down somewhere. All right, next. So making the right choices. Okay, I just said that. Over 70% of illnesses are preventable. It's all about making right choices and having your genes have the right expression, okay? That's the whole key. And you can come up with a much healthier person at any age. They're finding that previously they didn't think the brain regenerated itself. Previously they didn't think the heart regenerated itself. Now we know they all regenerate themselves. Given the right conditions, you can regenerate your body. That is the major message here. And with the right information, actually it's pretty exciting. It's very exciting to be a doctor, and it's very exciting to be a patient right now, because medical knowledge is exploding. It's doubling every 3.5 years. The only thing that's going faster than medical knowledge is computer science. That doubles every 18 months. So, what's so exciting is a lot of things that I had theories about are actually being proven. And in fact, any patient that's been with me for a while, they'll know one of the things I tell them is white out. No white flour, no white sugar, no dairy, no salt, okay? Those are openers. And anyway, so diet's very important because all those are inflammatory foods. And remember, once again, the common denominator for disease, aging, heart disease, cancer is a chronic inflammatory state in the body. And that is cause, okay, so two big things right here. Cause of everything, aging, heart disease, chronic inflammation, and no one will argue with that. Most doctors will agree with that. Major cause of chronic inflammation is simple sugars, white flour. Sugar attaches to your protein. That's what we are, we're proteins. So you have which now you have a glycoprotein. It's never been in your body before in human history, because we never were able to walk through the forest and have a Twinkie. So what's happening is you're becoming protein and Twinkie or a Dunkin' Donut. And the body the immune system does not recognize that. So what it does, it produces antibodies and inflammation. So you are producing chronic inflammation to yourself at all levels. So I may be the first doctor in history saying all bread is bad. All dairy is bad, okay? And I can go on for hours on dairy. But one of the things, and we'll get into oxidology, we're here already. Oxidology is a science that was pioneered by Dr. Bradford from Stanford. He spent 30 years with the science. And basically, it's using the Bradford microscope, which is 18,000 magnification. Go ahead and go to the next one, I think. There it is, 18,000 magnification. At that magnification, you can look at 2 drops of blood, and you can actually see disease. Normally, you go to a hospital, and you give a blood specimen, they use one of these microscopes, it's 400. This is 18,000. You can actually see the disease.
It's an electron microscope?
It's right below an electron microscope. It's better than an electron microscope. There's only a few of these in this part of the United States because they're very expensive, broke me. Anyway, the electron microscope is not good for biologicals because it changes the observed. This does not. In fact, this is sometimes called live cell analysis. You can actually, in this next one, I have this in my Northridge office. Okay, these are some of the things you might see. Okay, here's a normal, very few normals. Okay, okay, heart stress. You can actually see this is it's worth the price of admission right there, because what's the number 1 killer? Heart. Okay, I'm saying okay, I feel fine, doc, everything's fine, and you know everybody knows you can go and have a perfect EEG, a perfect EKG, whatever, and stress test, and then have a heart attack and die. Well, see these little buds? That tells me that your heart is under stress. So what do? I say, okay, let's get your cholesterol. Let's make sure you're taking all the appropriate heart nutrients, okay, to alleviate them. And then what we do is we follow. See, I'm not going to wait until he actually has a heart attack. Okay, here, almost in everybody.
What are those little white bugs?
This is the bowel. This is called bowel toxicity, bowel dysbiosis. This is very common in everybody. I mean, this is really interesting because bowels. You know, Dr. Bradford, he instilled in me the importance of bowels and digestion and so forth. And that's very interesting. And actually, your bowels are where the rubber meets the road. Your bowels and how they react to letting nutrients and vitamins in and keeping the bad stuff out has a lot to do with how healthy you are. Now, this is the second time I've been across this. Back when I was a young man, I used to like to study all the ancients. And in Egyptian medicine, the #1 doctor to the pharaoh was the doctor of the bowels. And I go, that doesn't make sense. I would think it'd be the doctor of the head or the heart. Anyway, doctor bowels. Well, now I understand. The bowels are critical to health. Because I have patients, I'll say, okay, let's see if I have a slide here. Okay, here your vitamin C. Your vitamin C is down. I can tell you if you have appropriate or inappropriate hormones, vitamins. And then this is just an assessment, real quick, I can say, okay, this is, well, then I can go ahead and get blood tests, which are much more expensive, whatever. But this gives me an overall assessment. But I see in everybody bowel dysaustosis, and it's because of the food we eat. Too high in simple carbohydrates, poison. Dairy products, poison, yes, sir.
So Doc, I'm going to be a shill out here, but what you're doing is you're taking a drop of blood and instantly putting it on a slide and looking at it while it's still alive.
Right.
Versus taking a tube of blood, sending it over to a lab,
Exactly.
and it's dead blood, and they're looking at dead blood when you're looking at live blood.
Right.
Is that why you can see that?
That's exactly what I'm doing, live cell analysis. And, okay, I'm going to say some outrageous things. This is one of them. The best, cheapest assessment of your overall body, we're talking, from head to toe, is to have someone look at your blood under this microscope.
You do it like within 5 minutes after you draw it or something?
Yeah. Well, what I do is I do it with your fingers and I take a couple of, because there's two tests. One is the live cell analysis, where I can see, and a lot of other people have chronic infections. You'd be surprised. You look at the blood and you see something whipping like that, it's a parasite, Anyway, and then, okay, that's the live cell. And the other thing we do, and this is so obvious if you're in the medical field or know anything about medicine, there are 13 different steps of coagulation. Each one is determined by an enzyme system, okay? Now, that enzyme system is influenced by your environment, whether you eat, smoke, whatever, stress, so that's going to cause the blood to coagulate a certain way. Well, this is Dr. Bradford, brilliant. This makes so much sense, it's so simple. 13 steps leaves you with a coagulant that points to the major problem, also points to the organ system that's stressed. So bingo, this patient has a lot of inflammation, and it's mainly coming from the bowel. You've got to look at his diet or her diet, and so we adjust that. And so the bowel is stressed. I put them on a detox. I use homeopathic remedies. That's like homeopathic remedies are like a no-brainer, and because they have no side effects. There's no downside. And in fact, that is my practice of medicine. I want to, first of all, 3 things I learned from Hippocrates. Number 1 is that food is the best medicine. Food is medicine. The best food is the best medicine. You can actually cure yourself eating the right foods. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's totally true. All the old sayings are true. There are 450 nutrients in an apple. But, no protein. So, that's the way my brain works. The best thing you can actually eat is an apple with a worm in it. I had pros and cons, but I just put that joke in there. Anyway, so food is very important. At UCLA, right now, they just discovered there's a substance in avocado that actually kills cancer. The joys of being Mexican. Salsa contains cayenne, which selectively kills cancer cells. Also, it's got the lutein from tomato paste for prostate cancer. I love the salsa. Salsa is now taking over for ketchup now. It's a good thing too. Okay, let's go next one. Anyway, okay, and here, depending on how the blood coagulates, you can tell if it's a superficial problem or you can tell if it's a deep problem. And then that helps me to determine how I'm going to treat the patient. If it's a superficial problem that's become deep in your system, then I'll have to use deep detoxicants and deep homeopathic detoxification agents. Not harmful. See, homeopathy is a free lunch. Next. Okay, time. Okay, this is it's all about diet. Okay, you want to lose weight? And the reason I have this lecture at the end of this month because everybody New Year's resolution they want to lose weight. Well, that's a good thing to do because being overweight is the third leading cause of preventable death. Second, the first one is cigarette smoking, but I'm going to switch all that tonight. Number 1 cause of preventable death is eating simple carbohydrates, white flour and sugar, because of glycation. It attaches to your proteins, and it mucks up your protein, mucks up your functioning. And you know, I deal with a lot of women, and they will all skin. Well, first thing you got to do is you got to eat good food, you know. And what's good food? Okay, good food is food in the forest, white out. And then, as far as there's a lot of nutraceuticals or vitamins out there, and everybody wants to decide. And there's actually too many to take. So after years of research, and I'm not the only doctor that's thinking this way. Okay, you know, Dr. Oz, he's sort of on the path. You know, he's where I was about 15 years ago. But that's good. He's on the path. He's seeing the light. You know, and there's a lot of other doctors. Dr. Schellenberger, who I study with in Reno, and Dr. Douglas. These are all guys that are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Complete disconnect. American medicine is a broken paradigm, okay? Because the doctors, as well as the patients, have been brainwashed. All you have to do is turn on TV every night. They're thinking that for every disease, there's a pill. That's wrong. I'll argue that with anybody. The Oriental technique, the Ayurveda technique, the homeopathic technique is their first, Buddha. Clean the body, right thought, right action, clean body, clean mind. Right there. That's the path to health. Totally right. To that, 600 BC. Okay? Buddha. Hippocrates. The best food is the best medicine. Jack LaLanne.
Oh, yeah.
If man makes it, don't eat it. Jack LaLanne.
93?
What?
Anything like 93?
96.
He passed away. Oh, he died.
He did die?
He died. But he was always been one of my guiding light. And what God, this sounds so arrogant. I should say it anyway. Is that he was the drum beater for health and fitness, okay? And he made two great contributions. 50 years ago, the biggest contribution he ever made was he put together the importance of weight resistance training, building muscle. Basically, if you maintain your muscle mass, okay, muscle is metabolism. You cannot keep your weight down permanently unless you build muscle, and you have to do the work. And muscle is 60 to 70% of your metabolism. Plus, yes, sir.
Fred, wasn't Jack LaLanne's mentor Paul Bragg?
I think so, yeah.
And then Paul Bragg had a mentor also.
Well, whoever taught him, you know, and just like, you know.
They both came up under Big Ten.
Well, Big Ten.
I worked
Oh,
with
thank
Jack
you very much.
Back
Friend patient. Yeah, but Jack LaLanne was the first one to think, you know, build muscle.
He made it big, he was successful.
And you know what? He was totally right. Because muscle is the major thing you're losing as you get older. Old people look old and dumpy because they don't have muscle. Okay? They don't maintain their posture. And they get tired easy. So muscle is 70% of your metabolism. So you can never lose weight if you don't develop muscle. So there, and I'm sure you know, there are people that will eat like little birds. They'll eat the wrong food at the wrong time, the wrong combination. But their calories are very low. And they'll do aerobics. And they don't lose any weight because they're not building muscle. So what you have to do is you have to do, aerobics are wonderful to test your heart and your brain. You gotta do that. So you gotta do a combination of aerobics and weight resistance. But my point with Jack LaLanne is he was the first one to realize that muscle development is very important. Well, when
He talked about the antioxidants and all the juices. He was always like juicing.
Oh, that's why, this is what killed, this is my no disrespect, Jack. This is my idea of how he died. First of all, he didn't die of what kills most people, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes. No, he died of respiratory infection. Now,
What did he die?
respiratory infection, pneumonia. So this is what happened. He was working out 2 hours a day. That's too much. You can overwork out, okay? And by overworking out, you stress your immune system. And there's so many toxic bugs out there. You have a low immune system, and you get a toxic bug. Right now, because of the misuse of antibiotics in the feeding of animals, there's some really resistant bugs out there. And that's the big shoe that's going to drop. And when you get one of those bugs, there's nothing that'll help you. And there's somebody else that just got respiratory infection. Real scary stuff. So the best thing to do, keep yourself healthy and stay away from hospitals and basically doctors too, or their offices, you know, where there's a lot of sick people. Because there's some very dangerous drugs out there. The best advocate for health is yourself, okay? Because, first of all, the knowledge, most doctors don't have this knowledge. And their approach is pills and more pills. So the best thing you can do is take care of yourself, and right up there, number one is diet, okay? That's the number one cause of chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, number one cause of aging, heart disease, cancer. Go ahead, next. Okay, didn't we already do this? Aerobic exercise, anaerobic exercise, you build muscle, it burns for 24 hours. You go for a jog, you're burning calories just for that short period of time. So you want to build muscle, that's very important. Go ahead, next. Okay. Well, I know, because I've done before. Okay, what we do is we look at body fat, okay? Because I think that fat is associated with cancer, it's associated with everything. So I try to get the body fat down. And what, people that are fat, they stay fat because they're fat. Reason being is if you're overweight and you have a lot of fat, you have a high insulin in your bloodstream, okay? Now, the high insulin is associated with all the parameters of aging and illness. Now, the high insulin means that it scavenges any glucose that's in your blood. And so you're always hungry because you're reactively hypoglycemic. So what you have to do is you have to break this metabolic barrier. And so being overweight, morbid obesity, and a major problem, a lot of times it's hormonal. And you have to address the hormone problem. And a real big one with women is hypothyroidism. In fact, there's a Dr. Baroka Barnes, the World Authority on Thyroid. He believes, you heard of Baroka Barnes? He's the one that says the best way to determine if you're hypothyroid is to take your body temperature in the morning. It's better than any laboratory test. And so these are the symptoms of hypothyroidism. And normally when I give this lecture, the women will go, that's me, okay. Okay, number one, having trouble with weight. Number two, cold hands, cold feet, dry skin, constipation. If you're a young woman, irregular menstrual period, migraines, tired all the time. A lot of people go, that's me. Well, very simple way to determine whether you have it or not. And it's not a very simple way, but it's also the best way, okay? Because, and some people, you take them, you give them thyroid, it changes their life, because thyroid is such an important, that's just one hormone, such an important hormone. Deals with how you feel. Also your skin, it's all aspects of metabolism. So I've had miracles with thyroid, with hormone replacement. In fact, I'll tell the story, patient's not here. I had a woman, she said, Dr. Garcia, you gotta help me. Because this is a true story, I feel like an alien. I go, whoa, I don't know about that. Anyway, so we start talking, blah, 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 and I look at her and, yeah, she has some of these symptoms of hypothyroidism. So, and she was like right in that perimenopausal time. So I did some tests on her, and sure enough, she was deficient in certain hormones, especially thyroid. I balanced her hormones. This is, I consider this a miracle. And now, she was getting along with everybody at work, she was losing weight, and she had more energy, and she was happier. That's how important a hormone can be. Well, we're going to get into hormones in a second. Go ahead.
You can go over that temp, how to do the temperature.
Okay, temperatures. Okay. Shake down a cheap old mercury thermometer night before, because it's called the basal metabolic rate. In the morning, when you wake up, under your tongue for 5 minutes. Write it down. If you're below 97.6, you're hypothyroid, no matter what the laboratory says. And so what I do, if you're below that, and you have the symptoms, I will treat. See, that's the other thing where doctors make a big mistake. Is they go by normal limits. Well, a cholesterol of 300 used to be normal in the 60s. Well, it used to be normal in the 60s, die of a heart attack. That's the reason Medicare and Social Security didn't start at 65, because most people were supposed to be dead by then. We're fooling them, aren't we? Anyway. Okay, exercise, menopause. Exercise, build muscle, you build your metabolism. Also, exercise lowers your insulin resistance. See, the problem is if you eat a lot of sugar and white flour, which everybody does, then your insulin resistance goes up. Your pancreas keeps kicking out more insulin, and pretty soon your cells become so overloaded they lose their sensitivity. Now, there are nutraceuticals. I have, in fact, at the San Bernardino office, I have treated insulin-dependent diabetics with the things I talked about here and nutraceuticals, and they got off the insulin. Okay? And that's kind of like a miracle. Anyway, and it's about, you know, the diet. If you're a diabetic, you should not eat simple carbohydrates, period. I don't think doctors tell them. You go and see the diabetic diet. They always have that slice of bread and potato here. Because, go ahead, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get really mad because of the state of, I love being a doctor. But, you know, and these poor guys out there, you know, they don't know. They don't know. And so I hate to be so hard on them. But it's their job to know. You just don't, you know, have a diagnosis and open the PDR and what's the next pill. No, that's not healing anybody. Next one. Oh, wait, this is a good one. Green tea, okay? Coffee drinker for years, love coffee. But I kept reading over and over how good green tea is for you. I mean, green tea. I mean, this is one thing that is cheap, very cheap. It's very beneficial. Okay, this is what green tea does. First of all, it's like aspirin, so it kind of keeps your blood thin. It's anti-inflammatory, which is good because remember we die of chronic inflammation. Anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. So if there's a fungus among us, green tea. Hi, come on in. Welcome. And tea ups your metabolism, helps you lose weight. It's an excellent antioxidant. So green tea. So this is what I do. Okay? And I don't expect my patients to do anything I don't do. So this is it. I'll have a cup of coffee, and I tell my patients, cup of coffee any way you want. Yes, sir.
Does it take that much green tea to have any value, like a cup or two a day?
A cup or two a day will make a big difference.
It will?
Just like apples. Remember we talked about apples. See, and we all knew that a good diet is probably good for us. But now they're coming out with research that proves it. In England, they tested some workers and men that had 2 apples a day had an improved respiratory function. Not 2 hours a day, 2 apples a week. Men that had 5 apples a week had a greatly improved respiratory function. I mean, that's amazing. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. All the old sayings are correct. Yes, ma'am.
Decaf as good as the other? Or?
Yes, either one.
Either
Decaf,
one.
yeah, right. See, the thing about tea, the reason it doesn't get you jittery is because it has threonine in it. Okay, threonine. Here, you're going to hear about that. Threonine is a calming substance of the tea. And so you have the caffeine, which kind of kicks you up, then you have the threonine that blocks you. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later is insomnia. 3 biggest problems of aging Americans is insomnia, chronic pain, and depression. Okay? And I don't have the answers to all of them, but I have some real good ways to go. So insomnia, okay? First of all, cut back on your caffeine. Go with tea. Number 2, exercise. Exercise, okay, good diet and exercise. Exercise is a combination of aerobic, weight resistance training, and we're not talking a lot. We're talking 20 minutes, 4 or 5 days a week. Okay? Okay, that is, you know, Jack LaLanne, he used to exercise 2 hours a day. Okay? That was too much.
He overdid it.
Yeah, he overdid it. He suppressed his immune system. Love you, Jack. Anyway. He was a giant. Okay, tea, go. Next one. Cleansing means healing. Okay? This comes from the field of homotoxicology, which is a spin-off of homeopathy. Homotoxicology tells us that, remember we talked about the matrix. Our body sits in a soup of nutrients and also toxins from the excretion of the different cells and different organ systems. Now, the cleaner you keep that soup, that's called the matrix, then it'll nourish the cells better, and it'll extract the toxins better, and it'll talk to itself better. Okay, so cleansing means healing. Now, Ben Franklin, I mean, see, when these giants say something, you listen to them. Ben Franklin said, he said, medicine and tonics are not nearly as good as rest and fasting. Fasting is something we can talk about some other time. Fasting, I mean, again, back in '79 when I started meditating, then it was 1982. I fasted, my first fast was for 5 days. First time I did that. And wow. And yeah, fasting. Well, you know, that's the whole thing about eating. All the research now shows that thin is best. Okay? All of it. That's the other thing. And that's, no one can argue with that.
So the purpose of fasting is to clean your body out?
Yeah, yeah.
So all
and periodic fasts are like one of the best things you can do to clean your body and also clean your head out too.
And what about how often do you do it? Once a month? Once
Well,
every 3 months?
I actually, I fast, I eat 1 meal a day. Why? Because that's what the Buddha did. 1 meal a day. Okay. And so that means
Always, or just that?
well, no, I've really been strict for probably the last 8, 9 years. Okay.
1 meal a day.
1 meal a day.
How many calories in that meal?
I stay under 2,000 calories. And right now, my weight is below my high school weight. And I eat good, I'm not hungry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. And what I tell my patients is just being average weight, if you really want to push the envelope and live 100, 110, and it's in all the research. And the first was done by Dr. Wolfer at UCLA. He showed that reducing your caloric intake by 40% increases your longevity by 50%. So 50% of the average 76, everybody should live to be 100 just by being thin. Well, look around. A lot of this stuff is so obvious. You don't see any fat old people. They're all thin.
Except my brother.
Hey.
Just kidding.
Hey, he's my new friend.
I know.
Yeah, this is Ray. And I met him 3 months ago. I was at a laser lecture. And we're friends, so I can talk to him. So he says, I'm always, you know, they're lecturing, I'm asking questions, blah, 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 spouting off. He says, how can I get my blood pressure down? I told him, I just looked around and said, you're too fat, lose weight. and then at the break, this is the true story, right, Ray? And this is a true story. See, I've seen patients that I can help. I attack them.
Right.
Anyway, so we had to break, he started asking questions, and I expected him to have a real bad diet, not doing any exercise. And lo and behold, Ray has a elliptical bike, he exercises like crazy, and also his diet was not bad. And oh, Jesus. Anyway, so he's my project right now. And then what I'm finding is that, well, first of all, right after that, you know, my signature, okay? He was used low in a couple of key hormones, testosterone and thyroid. And so now he's starting to lose weight, slow but sure. But his major problem, we're doing blood tests now, I think, is he has a chronic high insulin level. High insulin level. If you have a high insulin level, you cannot lose fat. It tells the body, maintain the fat. Anyway, we're working on it, and he's a work in progress, but he's my buddy. Let's go. Next one. Okay, again, this is all the regulatory systems of the body, and what we want to do is everything to be firing on all cylinders. Your matrix, your liver, your nervous system, your mucosal surfaces, your immune systems. Okay. Now, when you're healthy, then you can take just about any insult, bounce back. The plasticity in the human body is unbelievable. Well, some of the new research is really exciting, because not only the physical body can rebuild itself. In fact, they've had some cerebral wounds in Iraq and Afghanistan, where part of the brain has been destroyed, and that happened to be part of the brain with its arm. Okay. Now, what they've done is repeated physical therapy. They've got other parts of the brain take over the function of the arm. That's mind-boggling. Well, here's the other thing. And, you know, I've been telling my patients this for years, a lot of this stuff. Another thing I've been telling them, it's too soon to do this, next one. this is going to be about allowing your mental health. This is going to be mental health. The matrix, okay, we already talked about the matrix. The matrix is the in-between. You got to keep, the matrix is the in-between, you got to keep it clean. That's the whole story there. Your body, all your organ systems sit in the soup. And if the soup is clean, they get clean nutrients, and they get rid of all the toxins. Okay, next. Here's, oh, stop. I could use a new pointer. This is the matrix, okay? And it's where all the nerves end. You have small little nerves, the vessels, both arteries and the venules, and all your little macrophages, all your cleaners. That's who we are, is the matrix. Okay, next.
Biochemistry of the body.
Yeah. Okay, next. And see, modern medicine doesn't even talk about the matrix. I never learned anything about the matrix in medical school. Are we going the right way? Okay. These are all the different detoxification centers. And so this is real simple. Okay? I look at the microscope, you have liver stress. Okay, so I'm going to give you things like milk thistle, silymarin, which has been known for thousands of years as a liver protector and rejuvenator. Silymarin, milk thistle. Or also, this is a new one, artichoke leaf extract, liver. Liver is what detoxifies your body, very important. Okay? And I have some of my patients that like to drink a lot, and so I tell them milk thistle, artichoke leaf extract, and then all the B complex vitamins. Okay, so see, I know all my patients, I know what their habits are, blah, blah, blah. And so it's kind of like preventive medicine. All right, next. This is the free radicals are caused by inflammation. Okay, and when you have a free radical, see that little electron shooting out there? It damages your proteins, it damages you. And also, chance of damaging your DNA. Point, vitamin A, very important. Well, here, I might as well give it now. I'll come up with a mnemonic. There's so many vitamins and nutraceuticals, you don't know which ones to take that are really important. Here's my mnemonic. This is what you should have a good plant-based diet. Best source of protein is fish, you already know that. And what's the best fish, Michael? Huh?
Oh, salmon.
Salmon. See, people are starting to know this stuff. And if you don't eat a lot of fish, fish oil. I mean, that's just like a must. Okay?
I can just take a fish oil in place of eating salmon?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Be
careful with the laser.
I'm sorry.
Be careful with the laser.
Okay.
You flip it all over.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, next. Okay, here. The value of nutraceuticals, which can be vitamins, minerals, or plants or remedies. And the beautiful thing about nutraceuticals, no side effects. And I'm going to show you in a later slide, they can be just as effective as what's out there. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a slide on homotoxicology, and depending on the layer that the disease is, see, if you have asthma, that's a deeper layer than a common cold. So I would treat you in a different way. Also, this is a new concept also. Depending on where the organ system came from in embryology, can determine how you should be treated. For instance, if you have a skin problem, the skin and the brain came from the ectoderm, the outer covering of the embryo. Okay, so the best way to treat the skin and the brain is with, say, for instance, topical hormones. Okay, that's a very good way to treat those things. Also, if you had a bony problem, chronic pain, that's mesoderm. So the best way to treat that would be to inject. Okay, you get the best results. And if you have internal organs, heart, kidneys, whatever, you take pills. Okay, so that's the way you use the homeopathic remedies for maximum effect. And in my experience, many illnesses and disease and symptoms. The thing about homeopathy, first of all, no side effects. But secondarily, it addresses the symptoms and it addresses the cure of the problem. Both. See, most medicinals, they just suppress the symptoms. Okay. For instance, you have a headache. It'll give you something to get rid of pain. Okay? But you know, the headache may be due to sublux cervical vertebrae. It could be to a hormone imbalance, or you're allergic to some foods. A lot of people have prodromes, and they know they're going to get it, and that can be food allergies. That's another thing about eating simple carbohydrates. Bread. Bread is poison. Here's another reason. There's a lot of things that cause us to maintain weight, keep us fatigued, are chronic allergies to foods we eat. Now, bread is a double bad. Number one, because it's a rapid rise in sugar, always bad for hyperinsulinemia as well as inflammation. But also, two, bread has eggs, dairy, and gluten. And that's all bread, whether it's rye, barley, or wheat. All of them, those are major, major allergens. So not only is it bad because it raises your blood sugar, but also you're eating a very allergic food. And the problem with that is allergens cause reactions to our body. They affect our digestion, our metabolism. And what's really odd is that people, if they're allergic to a food, sometimes it's foods that they like. Do you agree with that, Dan? Foods you like, they love them, but you know they can't take it. Anyway, a no-brainer is dairy products. 70% of people are lactose intolerant. They cannot digest lactose. And lactose is a sugar. It starts a whole cascade of the inflammation.
That's the body telling you that there's something wrong by ingesting it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, a lot of people, you know, what gets me is they drink milk and they have abdominal symptoms, whatever. And not only that, milk is a mucus former. Also, lactose causes a thinning of the bowel. Lactose causes a thinning of the bowel. There's something else that causes it. Lactose and chronic inflammation cause a thinning of the bowel. Remember we talked about our bowel health is very important for overall health. So you thin the membrane of the bowel, and pretty soon you have a leaky bowel. It's called leaky gut syndrome. And leaky gut syndrome may be the cause of a lot of maladies. I mean, you're auto-intoxicating. And right now, the incidence of autoimmune disease is just skyrocketing. We're becoming immune to ourselves.
I don't think they understand what leaky gut is.
Leaky gut is when your intestines are in such poor health that they actually have a little rupture. So the intestines, rather than being a barrier to all the bad stuff in the intestines, poop, it also has to have healthy membranes to allow the nutrients to come in, the vitamins and so forth. And so if you have a non-healthy gut from a lot of dairy, you know, all the bad foods, you know, the trans fatty acids, then you're going to have a hole in your gut, and the stuff's coming down, you're going to get bad stuff in your bloodstream. And that's a big cause of auto-intoxication, autoimmunity, you know, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. Multiple sclerosis, more and more autoimmune disease. But also, autoimmunity is causing, I think, a lot of migraines, atherosclerosis, across the board. It's not good. You got to maintain your gut health. And that, so right there, you eliminate dairy products. So that's think about 4 or 5 minutes.
Is it also causing Alzheimer's?
What?
Is that also causing Alzheimer's?
I'm sorry. Okay, Alzheimer's. The cause of Alzheimer's is the deposition of what they call an amyloid B protein. It's an abnormal metabolism. And you talk about abnormal metabolism, you got to go right to the beginning, which is the gut. So, but Sapolsky at Stanford is very interesting. He thinks that cortisol levels are the stress hormone. When you get stressed out, you kick up cortisol. Now, Sapolsky says that Alzheimer's is associated with poor inflammatory diet, and they all are, and also a high cortisol level, which people are stressed out. Okay? The combination may be the trigger, along with oncogenes in your genetic pool. See, there are genes in your genetic pool that are called oncogenes. That if stimulated, you're going to get cancer. And what you need to do is you want to not to stimulate them. You want to protect these genes. The best way to protect them is with antioxidants, proper diet, a non-inflammatory diet.
So all reverse like the diet.
What? A non-inflammatory diet. A non-inflammatory diet is you don't eat any white flour, any white sugar. Those are acid. Red meat. Red meat has arachidonic acid in it, causes inflammation. Dairy products, very inflammatory. The good food are food from the forest. Fruits, vegetables. Eggs are good. In fact, they say now that the yolks of eggs are inflammatory. But you know what? Don't worry about it. Eggs are so good for you. It's a good source of protein. I don't want you not to take them. Eggs are so good for you. Eggs, dairy, egg yolks, dairies, red meat. Red meat is loaded. And also, as you get older, you lose your digestive juices. And so you have a hard time digesting red meat. And you get the arachidonic acid, which is pro-inflammatory. It's all is part of this chronic inflammation syndrome.
So you're describing an alkaline diet.
Okay, yeah, that's the other thing is, when you're sick, disease, your body becomes acid. This is a ray, okay? And so, if you eat all the vegetables and fruits, and you're eating the diet, fish is the best diet, best source of protein. You already all know that. Salmon's the best, tuna's not bad. Well, I just found out halibut and cod are good too. That's great. I like them both. Okay, so when I go out to dinner, I order fish, and you can order any way you want. In fact, one of the things I do is I work out at 24-hour fitness. Are you guys been going? Yeah. All right, cool. I just got my daughter's boyfriend a membership there. And exercise, you know. If in doubt, work out, you know. No inspiration without perspiration. You got to perspire every day. You know, and you know, there's no free lunch. But what I am telling you about today is an executive program. Simple choices you can make on a daily basis with huge results, okay? Where was I? Okay, go. Okay, here we go. Autism, Parkinson's disease. A lot of these may be due to heavy metal toxicity, okay? Aluminum, mercury. Okay, and so one of the really cool things about the microscope is I can see heavy metal toxicity in the microscope very quickly. So what do? I put you on a detoxification program, homeopathic, no side effects, an oral chelation program, so you get rid of that stuff. And basically, if you have heavy metal toxicity, it's hard to get well. It's hard to get well. Or that if you have chronic infections. Next slide.
You know, actually, he took one of my patients that had mercury poisoning and detoxed her, and it actually acts like lead poisoning with that nervous and jittery and loss of memory. He detoxed her and she normalized her. Nobody else could figure out.
Well, nobody should have lead in the head. Yeah, fine. Cleansing is healing. Next, we were talking about cleansing. Okay, growth hormones. Sorry.
I'm talking about, has anybody done a study on platinum? Because when they replace gasoline with the lead in it, they put us in platinum, and platinum is a catalyst, and it's being emitted out on all the freeways and stuff.
I think all the heavy metals can be a problem. Because the body, see, what they do is they get stuck in the fat, okay? Here's another disconnect. This happened and is happening with low-fat diets. And some people, no-fat diets. This started in the 90s. Well, that just so happened to coincide with the discovery of things like Paxil, Zoloft, and all the SSRIs for depression. Because what they didn't see until after the fact, or didn't notice, is the brain is 100% omega-3 fatty acids. 100%. So when you're eating French fries, that's trans fatties, or you're eating the steaks, which is saturated omega-6s. Okay? See, normally our ancestors, their mix of omega-6s to omega-3s was 30 to 1. No, I'm sorry, the ideal was 1 to 1. Now we have 3 to 1. And people wonder why, in fact, this came out on TV yesterday. It said people, I'm sorry, it was on all the news. People that eat fast foods, trans fatty acids, they have psychiatric problems. Did anybody else see that? Okay. Anyway, and people that eat fish, etc., they don't, you know. Well, it's obvious. If you're eating good fatty acids and your brain is 100% fat, and you have good fatty acids, you have a good brain. Here's the other thing about diet, how it pertains to hormone replacement therapy. Okay, you can balance the hormones perfectly. Okay? patient. But because the receptor sites where the hormones actually do their work is actually a fatty membrane, okay? Therefore, if you have a very, very bad fatty diet, you say a French fryer, then here comes the hormone, it's the key, goes to the lock, and now it doesn't fit, doesn't turn, you don't get the result, even though all your hormones are good. So diet, once again, getting back to diet. Diets are important for everything, including hormone replacement therapy. Yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I have two questions. Could you just back up a little bit what you just said about the trans fat and it not fitting the law
Yeah,
anymore?
okay. The trans fat is an abnormal fat that's in our body because we eat fat, we have fatty, quick fried foods, and also French fries is probably the worst example. And what that does is our body makes of our fatty important areas, which are the brain and the membranes, out of this bad fat. So when the hormones come along, they have to look for the receptor sites in that fat, and because it's abnormal fat, they can't work. So here you're out of hormonal balance, not because Dr. Garcia isn't balancing your hormone, it's because you're sneaking French fries every night. So the key doesn't fit the lock, it doesn't turn.
The trans fats.
Trans fats are bad. Unsaturated fats and beef is very bad.
But the trans fats went to the receptor sites. And
Yeah,
changed
exactly,
it.
and it's abnormal. Okay, so the other thing that you have to be careful of is overcooking your food. The xanthines. You create xanthines, which are very pro-inflammatory. Okay, hormones. Okay, hormones are very, very important to how you feel. Okay, and another big disconnect is right now people don't know whether to take hormones or not, especially women. Okay, women stopped taking hormones in 1992. 92. It was the World Women's Health Study where they realized, Women's Health Initiative. They found that the common hormones they were given, which was Prempro, Premarin, and Provera, was causing all the things it was supposed not to cause: heart disease, cancer of the breast, as well as blood clots, everything. Anyway, and so a lot of women went off, and women that are in the menopause, their ovaries stop working. That means they're not producing three very important hormones: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And for a long time, if you'd had a hysterectomy, the doctors would only, or you're in the menopause, doctors only give you estrogen. Well, you know, the ovary produces three hormones, why not give you all three? Obvious, you know. Disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. Anyway, so here's the bottom line. The take-home message is hormones are basically how you feel. Hormones reflect your neurotransmitters, your dopamine, your serotonin, and norepinephrine. So if those are out of balance, you don't feel good. What's more important than feeling good? So you want to balance your hormone. And then the doctors don't know what I know, okay? They don't know that you can safely give bioidentical hormones. The problem was breast tissue is very, very sensitive to estrogen. So what do? They turn around and give a horse estrogen, estrone, which is 10 times more powerful than human estrogen. That's what was causing the disease. And then they turn around and give Provera, which is an abnormal progesterone, okay? Progesterone is a very, very good hormone. It's very safe. It's cheap. See, I like to deal with things. There's about 3 things that are so good for you. Progesterone for women, testosterone for men and women, DHEA for men and women. They're all super effective, very few side effects, and they're cheap. That's the trilogy that I look for. Yes, ma'am.
At the risk of, I don't mean to take the floor from you, but something the state of California has recently demanded with bioidentical progesterone, because they don't understand the difference between bioidentical progesterone and synthetic progesterone.
I'm going to say something here that may get me in trouble.
Gosh,
my lawyer isn't
cause
here.
cancer, and it's
I'm
wrong.
going to say something that may get me in trouble.
Anybody sees that.
But all of these decisions are made for financial purposes. Okay, the big sellers, we're talking not millions, we're talking $1 billion sellers, are Premarin and Provera. Okay, There is proof right now. This is what really upsets me. There's proof right now that both Premarin and Provera cause heart disease, cancer, all of it. But because the money powers, pharma has a death hole on the FDA. Here is another thing that just really riles me, is the FDA is paid for by subsidies from big pharma.
Which is stupid, yeah.
I mean,
It's like the
I'm
fox
sorry.
guarding the hen house.
Yeah, it's horrible, it's horrible. And I see this, and I want to scream. Well, I'm just like that guy, what was it, Network? I'm sick and tired, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
Today, I've been thinking about this for a couple days, and this sounds absolutely outrageous. But today is the kickoff. It's me against the world, and I hope to not sending millions of dollars of aid or new research or whatever. I hope to change and heal the world just with available, proven knowledge. How simple is that going to be?
Absolutely.
And I'm enlisting all of you to help me. Okay? If you give me, I will give this talk, and we can go into modules and everything. I will give this talk for free. I don't want any money out of it. I want to see what's happening in our society. Is medical care is killing us. Inflation goes up by 2%. Medical care goes up by 10%. It's very expensive for not very good medicine. And all you have to do is teach the people to make the right decisions and how to self-heal. My hope is that I'm going to teach all of the, okay, let's get into energy medicine. Teach all of the high school students basic meridians, basic acupressure to heal themselves. Sounds like a, anyway, a good diet, and that's a start. Okay, where are we? Okay, DHEA is another thing, it's a no-brainer. DHEA is the most common hormone in the body. DHEA counterbalances the negative effects of cortisol. Remember cortisol? Cortisol. Everybody has high cortisol. Why? Stress. There you go. See, yeah, people are becoming knowledgeable. We're ready to take over, guys. We're ready. And Freddie's here to lead you. Freddie, we're going to go. Doing smart things, okay? Doing smart things that are going to help you heal yourself inside, outside, etc. So DHEA, let's see, I gotta get the facts straight. DHEA goes down, cortisol goes up as we age. Okay? And this is right up front. Everyone should take DHEA. That's simple. The other thing about DHEA is it's a precursor hormone. It will convert to testosterone and estrogen, which as we get older, we're low in. But okay, so that's DHEA. Growth hormone is the fountain of youth. Okay? It's the only hormone that tells all the body cells regenerate, get healthy, regenerate. Growth hormone, expensive stuff.
It is.
Okay, growth hormone, DHEA, melatonin. Melatonin, that's for a night, 3 milligrams a night, is very good for you. It helps you sleep, but also it's anti-carcinogenic. It prevents cancer. Okay, now I got to give you my mnemonic. Here it is, and it just changed. I studied for 4 months to give this lecture. I changed my mnemonic. Before it used to be beautiful faces, cutie. Now it's beautiful faces, little cutie. Okay, beautiful. These are the things that you must take. All the B complexes, beautiful. Faces, plural. Fish oil, folic acid. Vitamin A protects your DNA. C, everybody knows about C. Hey, I've been taking C for 20 years. You know why? Because Linus Pauling, 2 times he got the Nobel Prize. And he said, vitamin C protects your arteries. And he was right.
And the AMA came out and said that.
No, the AMA, you know.
There it is.
They
want you to get
don't
so
get
you
me
can make money
mad.
on you.
But the message is coming back now, all these years later.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
On the
Oh, yeah, American medicine, oh gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble. American medicine is so backwards. 5 years ago, they'd say don't have eggs, don't have nuts, and what else? Stay out of the sun, avocados. Now it's exactly the opposite. Now it's eat all those foods. Also, vitamin D is the new wonder cure. Vitamin D is doing wonder cure? Vitamin D is sunlight. I've been telling my patients, they're here for 15, 20 years. Yeah, put a cap on so you don't get it sitting in your face, and get out in the sun 10 or 15 minutes. You know why? Because it made sense. And also, doctors, everybody doesn't realize that we have progressed in many areas, you know, especially emergency medicine, but we've forgotten a lot too. Back before penicillin, when you got really sick and no one knew what to do, the treatment was you go to a sanitarium, you eat natural good foods, and you lay out in the sun. And a lot of people got better. Lo and behold, and remember what Ben Franklin says, rest and fasting, best thing. Well, you know, I learn a lot from animals and small children. Look at a dog. He gets sick. He goes under a bush and doesn't eat. Okay, this is what I tell my patients. They're trying to lose weight. You can condition your mind to be full with that or that. Okay, and the key is think of yourself as the lion. He kills the gazelle. He eats until he's full and then walks away. Now remember, this lion doesn't know where his next meal is coming from. He doesn't have a refrigerator. But he knows he's intuitively in touch with his inner being. And we are not. Animals are much more in touch. Animals and small children are much more in touch with their inner being. It tells them to overeat is very harmful. And indeed, all the research tells you that overeating, being overweight, and losing weight and being thin. Now I tell my patients, if they really want to push the envelope, I want them to be skinny with muscles. Skinny with muscles, that's the healthiest. And you know, all the research says that. And Dr. Wolford at UCLA, he was the first one, 1992. This whole new thinking just started in the 90s. This all new sky. He said, he proved that caloric restriction, 1992, caloric restriction can improve your lifespan by 50%. And now, and there was a group of people, I guess in this area, because UCLA, yeah, that signed on to what he said, and they just, so like me, I eat 1 meal a day. And so they calorically restrict, but what you have to do is if you're just eating 2,000 calories a day, you have to make sure those are good calories, okay? So it's CROM, caloric restriction with optimum nutrition, okay? And what I have found, for most patients, I tell my patients that are trying to lose weight, eat into your full stop, full stop, full stop. Now, there's a lot of people that have this obsessive compulsive behavior, to whatever it might be. And food's one of them. So there are medications. There are a couple of good medications that I do use. Most of the time, I do not use medications. I use nutraceuticals. But there are a couple of good medications that specifically address the obsessive compulsiveness of overeating. So, and they're very safe, not harmful. That's the kind of medicine I like. So, my whole concept about getting you to lose weight permanently, and I'm not interested in anybody that doesn't want to lose weight on a permanent basis. What's the point? You know? You're in this for the long haul. To lose weight is probably one of the most valuable things to do. This is how you do it. You want to change your habits from bad to good. I'm giving you all good habits. And you want to increase your metabolism. Increase your metabolism is what? Anybody? Build muscle. There you go. See, there's another one on my pages. Notice, build muscle, build your metabolism. You got to do weights. So no carbohydrates, do the weight. And also, here's the other one. The other very important habit is no late night eating. You do not want to eat within 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Now, and we all know that.
It's a hard lesson to learn, but
well, it's a hard lesson to learn, okay? You know it. And then, you know, 5 years from now, I'm going to say, oh, big breakthrough, you know. Anyway, no, here's, see, when I hear stuff that works, then I do the research to find out why it works. Like, I helped Suzanne Summers write her first book, Summer Suns. And so she taught me about proper food combining. And I didn't know anything about it. So I started doing that with my patients, and it worked. And I go, why does it work? Well, here it is. Okay, when you eat, and basically, it's not mixing proteins and carbohydrates, okay? That's meat, potatoes, chicken and rice, sandwiches. Well, that's the way everybody eats. That's a bad combination. Why? First of all, in evolution, We never walked into the forest, caught a rabbit, got a piece of bread, and made a sandwich. No, that never happened. And so, because we never did that, when you have that combination, meat, potatoes, chicken, rice, you get two different digestive juices being secreted that cancel out the food that sits in your stomach. That food is not metabolized, okay? So that puts on weight, it's a toxin. Best thing to do is eat food that's metabolized, it's getting out. So, the other thing is, here is the cure. Cure to upper GI problems. You know, the regurg, the GERD. Okay, that is curable. If you do exactly what I say right now, gone forever. The reason for GERD is because you eat a bad combination of food, stays in the stomach too long. The body, in its wisdom, responds by kicking in more acid, because it wants to digest it. And so it comes up. Now, we have an epidemic of esophageal carcinoma. I think Michael Douglas has it, because of this constant irritation from the gastric juice. So the answer is you never mix fruit with any meal. Fruit is so rapidly digested that you mix it with either a protein or a carbohydrate meal. It backs up in the stomach and it causes fermentation. And also, what I tell my patients, the ones that really want to lose weight, quick, and I tell you either have a protein meal or a carbo meal. Protein meal is chicken, tuna, turkey. Go real heavy with the tuna and the fish. Vegetables and salad. Your favorite dressing, and I hope it's virgin or olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Perfect. You have your nice chunks of tuna or salmon, vegetable salad, your virgin olive oil. I like pepper. I like a lot of pepper. And okay, now what are you eating here? You're eating protein. It's so obvious. I'm going to tell you. You're eating protein and fat. Tuna and olive oil. Well, that happens to be a good combination, according to Suzanne Summers. And of course it is. Because for 3 million years, when we were wandering in the forest, that's what we ate. We caught an animal, protein and fat. We're used to that combination. So our body says, yeah, it digests it, gets rid of it. But we weren't used to eating the protein and fat with the bread. It's nice. Bread is poison, folks. Okay, anyway. So, that's your protein meal. Okay, I actually, you come to my program, I try to get you to eat fruit in the morning, and this whole thing about eating a big breakfast in the morning, that's kind of baloney too. Sorry about that. Reason. This goes against Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, they have a clock of how the body works. What times certain, like the reason you get up, one of the reasons you get up in the middle of the night to pee is because that's when your bladder is working in Chinese medicine. But in the morning hours, Chinese medicine, and it's always been right, Chinese medicine tells us that in the morning hours, our body, main purpose is not nutrition, it's cleansing. And to eat fruit in the morning, high in water, high in fiber, it allows your body to do that. Or even oatmeal is good, that's a good fiber. No milk though. Oatmeal and water. One of the things I'll have for breakfast once in a while, I make it for my mother.
What about soy milk, like these new?
Great. Soy is wonderful. I'll make it into that too, geez. But soy is another thing that's very, very good for men and women. Soy for women. Well, our women in Japan, they have very little menstrual problems, and they have very little breast cancer compared to American women, because they eat 50 grams of soy a day. We eat 5 grams or less. Soy is anti-carcinogenic. Okay? So, and soy milk is excellent. In fact, soy milk, regular milk, even for children, is bad. There's now, and I expect you to check me out on this, there's evidence now that milk given to small children, 2 or 3 years old, can be the major cause of type 1 diabetes, insulin-dependent diabetes, because it creates an autoimmune reaction to the pancreatic cells. Milk is horrible stuff. It's horrible for a lot of reasons. Okay?
Is it also linked to autism?
What? Yeah.
Is it also linked to autism?
Yeah. Actually, one of the things that you tell people that autism or all obsessive compulsive disorder, ADHD, all of that is pollutants and diet. I've had women come to me for weight control, and oh, by the way, doctor, my son is having, they want to put him on Ritalin.
Right.
I go, first of all, get him off all candy, off all glutens, off all those allergens, give him a good probiotic for his bowels. And a lot of them have gotten so much better, and the kids realize it. So when they go off their diet, they start, get into trouble again, you know? So that's been up to bonus. And the woman comes in for something else. Where was I? Okay, hormones. Hormones, okay. Hormones are very important because basically it's how we feel. And like I said, there are more receptors in the brain than in the body for hormones. Okay, so if you want to feel good, you got to be in hormonal balance. Next slide. Okay, now the pineal gland, pituitary gland. Okay, one of the reasons you don't want to eat late, because one of the reasons you age, loss of hormones, loss of muscle, loss of hormones. So if you eat late, the insulin in that late meal suppresses your pituitary gland, and you don't get your normal ration of hormones, testosterone, estrogen, all of them. So, you know, and so when I tell my patients, this is how important it is. I'm pretty straight up with my patients, you know. I know what I'm doing, do it, or else, you know, that's it, period. And so, if you eat late, the insulin, okay, first of all, you have major pituitary secretionary hormones 2 hours after sleep. You eat late, within 3 hours of sleep, the insulin from that meal shuts off the pituitary. You don't get your hormones. So, you don't get your hormones, and so I tell my patients, you eat late, you get fat, you get old, you don't feel good. That's how important it is. If you guys are late night eaters, just do that one thing. That was worth the trip right there. Don't eat late. Okay? Don't eat late, and do the weight. Okay? Very quickly, I'm going to give you a, because again, this is an executive program, a little bit of work. Okay, the weights, real simple. Buy yourself some dumbbells. And the weight is not the most important thing. The most important thing with using dumbbells is you gotta do slow, okay? So, for men, you know, 25 pounds is good. Women, 5, 6 pounds. Anyway, 7 major muscle groups, 7 days a week. So, sit-ups. Sit-ups. Okay, 2 types of sit-ups. Knees bent, and you don't have to come all the way up. Just and you know, you're just starting. Some people will do more. Some people, this is the beginning. Just that gets your lower abs, and then you do the you lay flat, lift your legs up 6 inches, and kick. That gets all your abs. And at 68 years old, I'm getting the washboard. Okay, and it, you know, it takes you what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes every other day. Okay, okay. Weight resistance, I'm telling you, every other day. And the day you're not doing that, go for a brisk walk. A brisk walk. No lollygagging. Okay? And always increasing it. Always increasing it, okay? And so today is the first day of the rest of your life. Guaranteed. How many doctors guarantee you anything? Everybody. Guaranteed. You do the program as I'm talking about, you're going to see great results in 1 month. Okay, so sit-ups, push-ups. Men do the regular push-ups. Women do the anterior chest. Okay, and the other thing is, in my study of yoga, the anterior chest, where you're here, try to, in yoga there's a move called the cobra. And what that does, you kind of, and what that does is it brings the curves in proper, and we're going to be talking about pain management. Now, here it is, I have 2 chiropractors here. And I'm going to tell them right off the bat, and they've heard this before, and be honest, do you disagree with me? The cause of chronic pain, the cause is malalignment. And so you have stress, and that causes pain. That's the cause. So that's why I totally believe in chiropractic, okay? They're the only ones to keep you aligned. But then, with the new medicine, it tells you that by stretching the nerves, then they're sending out healing messages. Did you know that? You knew that. Okay, you know that. Okay, let's go. Thyroid, again. As many as 40% of the people, adults in this room out here, are hypothyroid. You need thyroid. Maybe the major cause of obesity, depression, hypercholesterolemia, skin problems, irregular menstrual period for women, thyroid. And the laboratory tests don't work. All my people, there's almost, I'm examining them, and there's like a thyroid deficient right on their chest. They have all these symptoms. And they go, oh, my doctor took a blood test, and he says no. Well, another disconnect. they have this big, the laboratories have this huge, within normal limits. And you can be low, normal, and by taking you from low normal to high normal, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay? So thyroid. And there are doctors that I respect that believe 40% of Americans are hypothyroid. Well, that's your energy. These are the things I see. And the patients I see. Everybody's tired. Tired. No energy, they've lost the zip, especially men. 50s, you know, there's lost, that's everybody. Okay? And the answer is, okay, go, next one. This is gonna be, now that's women. Now we're gonna talk about testosterone. Testosterone may be the wonder drug hormone for men. Okay? Testosterone starts to go down. All the hormones start to go down around 30. When men get to be about 50, they start getting a belly, okay? They start, you know, they lost a step, you know, they're just not there anymore. They've lost their sexual desire and their erectile abilities a little bit.
But the insurance won't pay for it. Why is that?
No, because, you know,
They'd rather have you be sick, so they can...
well, here's the thing. Well, let me finish what I'm going to say, because if insurance companies were smart, testosterone, okay, testosterone, everybody knows testosterone helps you build muscle. Any doctor will tell you that. Any patient will tell you that. Well, what's the most stressed, hard-working muscle of the body? The thumb. Testosterone and DHEA may be the best treatment for heart problems. It improves the heart muscle, okay, and DHEA also. In fact, in China, also, this is now proven testosterone improves cardiac circulation by 68%. Research in China, 68%, that's pretty good. And the reason you have a heart attack is you don't have enough blood going to your heart. Now you think that would be all over the news, right? But it'll come out next year and it'll be like a big deal. But they've known that in China now for 5 years.
But you got bean counters in the insurance companies that are saying it's $300 a month.
Yeah,
so
don't tell me about how bad it is.
Yeah.
American medicine is a big scam. But there are good doctors, emergency room.
No, my doctor wanted to give it to me,
But
and
the
the insurance company said no.
yeah, right. But then the normal way we treat what really kills us, the chronic diseases, is horrible.
Oh.
And it's all about making a diagnosis. And you're not sick until a doctor can show an X-ray or a blood test. Well, for me, that's too late. Of course, it all makes sense. And they're just.
But it's expensive, though, testosterone.
Testosterone. Well, actually, see, again,
I just bought some.
Huh?
I just bought some.
How much was
it's
it?
not that expensive.
It's not.
For a month.
But-
Subscribe it for me.
Right.
They want to charge $300 for.
That's expensive, and that's expensive. Now, see,
That's why
one
they
of
said
the,
no.
okay, here, I gotta give a plug to my sponsor here, Crescent Pharmaceuticals. They're here in Culver City, and they get the wonderful compounding, but also they're the most reasonable price in town, and that's why I use them.
Can you write a prescription that I can get it from you to get it from them for $68?
Well, I gotta make sure that you need it, so you have to come in, I get to get a blood test.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying, if
Oh yeah,
it came down to that,
okay.
because I can afford that.
Testosterone may be the magical drug for men. Okay, there's a lot of men that have all those problems. Belly, loss of muscle,
Can't have done, I can't afford it.
not feeling good, lost energy, and depression in men. The first treatment should be to look at their testosterone and their thyroid. Testosterone, and I have men in this room that I've given testosterone to. Testosterone changes your way of thinking. That is the, you know, and men understand that. When you were 17, 18, you know, okay? There's no word for it, but men know, especially athletes, they know that feeling, okay? Well, here's so testosterone may be the wonder drug for men, it may be the wonder drug for heart. Okay? Here's a poem, and we've all heard that the male sex drive moves the universe. It's what's behind wars, behind great art. Van Gogh chopped off his ear because of a woman. The male sex drive is a powerful thing. Well, our favorite poet, Octavio Paz, Nobel Prize laureate. I want to say he's Mexican, but I think it's Peruvian. Anyway, he says, this is beautiful. He says, erotic love is a spindle around which all life revolves. And with testosterone, that's erotic love. That's erotic love, that's stamina, that's libido, and women need it as much as men.
That's how great cities got built and everything else.
Right. Women need it men. One of my specialties with my card is sexual enhancement. And basically for women, give them testosterone. And then all of a sudden, you know, the men look better and better. Yes, ma'am.
I've been hearing or reading a lot about using bioidentical progesterone for men as well to
Okay,
help deal with
progesterone is a wonderful
prostate issues.
wonderful hormone. Again, it meets my 3 criteria. Number 1, no side effects, very small. And the reason it's so good, progesterone. If you've ever been pregnant and you had your baby, your progesterone levels were sky high, over 1,000. Progesterone, progestation. So we know it's safe, okay? So progesterone is a very safe drug. It's not expensive, right guys? Not that expensive. And progesterone, and I'm not the first one to say this, John Lee. Dr. John Lee, you read it? You read him? He's written 3 books. I read them all. If you're concerned about hormone replacement therapy, read his books. Read his books and come and see me. What?
I'm not concerned, I'm just saying I've been hearing a lot.
I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about
using it in
anybody.
men. Oh, sorry. Using it in men to prevent
Oh, yeah.
prostate issues.
Well, here's the problem with prostate issues, okay? And if you live long enough as a man, you're going to have a growing prostate, okay? And that's heralded by decreased sexual function, decreased dream, you know, getting up at night, whatever. And sometimes pain, but not always. And the prostate grows, and that's hormonal. There are things, I tell all my men over 50 years old, you should be on a prostate formula, okay? Proven that, and you have a prostate formula at the pharmacy? And it should, well, it will make one. Here's what it should include: saw palmetto, pygeum, stinging nettles, and zinc. Make one up. Okay, now what that does is that protects the prostate from being the receptor sites. It blocks receptor sites from the dehydrotestosterone from connecting, and also from the estrogen connecting, and that's what causes the hypertrophy of the prostate. High estrogen. Here's a news flash. A 55-year-old man has more estrogen in him than a 55-year-old woman. Okay, because women usually go through menopause at 50, 51, and their ovaries stop working. And men, especially if they're fat, overweight, the fat itself, what it does is it aromatizes testosterone that they do have into estrogen. It's called aromatization. And there are safe ways to prevent that. And that's the image, of course. Okay, see, and so once you prevent, see, you can have a man that has a high estrogen level and a high testosterone level, but a low free T3, free testosterone. Free testosterone is the active portion that actually causes the reaction. And the reason for that is that the man's high testosterone has been converted to estrogen. And you see it in men. I don't have it because I have a cure for it. You know, man breasts. You know, I used to have them, but they're gone now. I have a cure for that. The combination of hormone replacement and also mesotherapy. I will get into mesotherapy. But testosterone, wonder drug for men, heart and how you feel. Also women. Next. Okay, one of the good drugs is Viagra. It works. Again, it meets the criteria. It's expensive though, but it works. Very few side effects. Been using it since 1997 when it came out. Next. Okay.
It's getting warm in here. Is
What's that?
I heard you can't use it.
Well, you can't use it if you're taking nitrites for your heart. Yeah, your heart, you can't use that. But most people don't. But you can take it with high blood pressure or whatever. I've treated hundreds, thousands. In fact, I was the first one to combine, see, I had men, I was the first one to use, one of the first people to use Viagra in the patients and also myself. Now, what I found is the men would say, okay, doc, it's great. I have the turgicity, I have the good erectile function, but you know, I don't really care that much. Okay, so, remember, erotic love is a spindle. And what's erotic love but testosterone? I was the first doctor in Southern California, maybe, who knows where, to combine testosterone, that's erotic love, the fantasy, the ejaculatory volume, all of it, and the good erectile function. And I help a lot of men that way. Okay, now, I can tell any man in this room, anybody listening to me, that I can maintain their erectile function forever. Okay, there are things we can do now that will keep your erectile function forever. Hey, man, it's going to be easy for living for a long time, really? No, really. In fact, it brings to mind, there was a famous old-time movie star, Jean Harlow. I'm sure you've heard of her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and she married a director, and he was impotent. He had this beautiful wife, and he can't do anything. He shot himself, blew his brains out. Well, if I would have been there, I would have fixed him. Not only that, if Michael Jackson would have chosen me as his doctor, he'd still be here. I also, I don't know if you mentioned that, board certified anesthesiologist. That was such an obvious flubber. You know, a cardiologist shouldn't be given anesthetics. Okay, next. Oh, okay. Chronic pain. Cause of chronic pain, malalignment. It's real simple. Chiropractors, go see them. We have two right here, Dr. Hillquist, Dr. Roan. I've known them for both of them for years. They're excellent. Leave some cards. So they maintain alignment. Now, cause of chronic pain is malalignment. Okay, now this is your normal vertebrae here. You have, oh, I can use my thing again. This is your nucleus pulposus. It's like a shock absorber. So, next slide. Is this unbelievable? Have I been talking for an hour and a half? Okay.
All good stuff.
Okay, here we go. This is the way the body's supposed to work. Up and down. Pressure should be in this vector. The problem we get into, and it can take a tremendous amount of weight, thousands of pounds. But when we twist and then lean, you're putting the vector, and what happens is you squish this disc to squirt out. And when it squirts out, then it rubs on nerves and you get back pain. Next one. Okay, here's the answer to back pain. My results are better than, and I hate to say this, guys, but it's true. My results as far as treating back pain are better than anybody else's in the world. Sorry. But the back surgery is probably one of the worst things you do. Orthopedic surgery, it's not very good. Okay? See, I love doing what I do because everything I do works. Okay? Like I do hair transplant surgery also. And because people are happy to get their hair back, you know, and they look good. Okay, but anyway, chronic pain. The cause of chronic pain is malalignment. So what happens? Okay, and this is another big disconnect. Orthopedic surgeons, neurosurgeons, most of the time, they don't examine the patient. They're looking at x-rays and MRIs. Well, and this technique that I learned, it's called prolotherapy, and I learned it from a Dr. Onley, who's now in Mexico. He was so successful, the orthopods got him kicked out of the country. So now he has a clinic in Mexico, in Sonoma. Anyway, here is the cause of chronic pain, malalignment, and when you have an accident, what happens is, everybody thinks, you guys, doctors think, the body's held together by vertebrae, you know, bones. Well, yes and no. But the bones are held together by ligaments, tendons, and cartilage. And so when you have a whiplash injury, which I see a lot in San Marino, then what happens is you've torn the ligaments in your neck or back. Now, all these people, if you ever had an auto accident, you go to the ER, take an x-ray, negative. Oh, because x-rays don't pick up ligaments, they pick up bones. Well, you have torn ligaments. Now, what happens is the orthopedic surgeon or the neurosurgeon will give you an anti-inflammatory. The anti-inflammatory reduces the inflammation, reduces the pain. But in inflammation is also a healing substance. So right in the anti-inflammatory, if you read the Vioxx, Celebrex, Motrin, it says may prevent healing. It does prevent healing. Prevents inflammation, prevents the healing aspect. So you never heal. So eventually, you have instability, bone, rub, and now the bones are rubbing on the nerves, it hurts, plus you see the changes in architecture of the bone, because they're rubbing now, and now, 8 months, 10 months later, you see on X-ray and MRI, oh, that must be the problem, right there. Let's go in there and fuse their vertebrae. The worst thing you can do, have that.
So the inflammation is nature's way of
Exactly,
keeping
exactly.
it together.
And that's one of the things I do. First of all, a patient comes to see me, and I get rid of the inflammation with a corticosteroid. First of all, you have to turn off the fire in the house before you can repair the house. Get rid of all the fire, all pain's gone. There's a big advocate of what I do over there, because I've taken his neck and his back many times. Get rid of the inflammation, you feel great, but that's not curative. Then I come back a week later, and then I go from examination, I determine which ligaments are torn. And it's really easy to make the examination. And I go ahead and I got another thing I got from Hippocrates. Remember, first thing, do no harm. Number 2, food is the best medicine. Number 3, prolotherapy. Hippocrates was the first prolotherapist. He was on the field of Olympia watching the Olympians prepare for the Olympics in Greece. And he was watching the javelin throwers, and he saw that some of them would anteriorly dislocate their shoulder. So what do you do? Brilliant. Brought the shoulder back into place, took a hot poker, scar tissue. Okay, I'm not using a hot poker. No, but the principle, I use the same principle.
Heat therapy.
What I do is I'll take some irritants, which are glucose, also phenol, very irritable. And I'll go right to where the ligament touches the bone. And prolotherapy is incredible. It repairs the ligaments. Okay, see, I'm injecting right there. Repair the ligaments. Next one. Okay, here's the patient I'm doing. And it's a big needle like this to go right in the spine. And I'm injecting very caustic stuff. So I better know what I'm doing, because the spinal cord is right there. Anyway, it's not that hard, and it's very, very safe. Okay? Because what I do is I repair the ligaments around the cord and around the vertebrae. Now, this is back. 90% success. In the orthopods, in the Yale study, Yale's a pretty good place. Not as good as UCLA, but it's still pretty good. But anyway, in the Yale study, 57% of people that had back surgery 5 years later wish they never had it. That's not medicine, okay? I have 90% cure of backs. And I do backs, necks, ankles, knees. And people go, how can you do all of them? Because it's all the same thing. It's all joints, bones, held together by ligaments. And that's what's injured, and that's what you've got to repair in order to get the person well. Okay? And yes, ma'am.
Can you use that for a youngster with a sports injury just as well?
Okay, here's one of my guys that refers to me. He referred me, remember the boy? He was a baseball player, and he tore his rotator cuff. Okay? And so I did about 3 or 4 prolotherapies on him. When we finished with him, he says, "Doctor, I'm stronger now. I can throw better."
Wow.
And also, I fix your shoulder too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 9 years
Okay,
ago.
on shoulders, on backs I'm 90%, on shoulders I'm 100%. Never saw a shoulder I couldn't fix. Because it's real simple. You have a rotator cuff, you have 4 or 5 ligaments that hold the joint in place. And you just feel it. And if that's where you inject, you heal the ligaments, holds the joint in place. That's the cure. Where you go to the common doctor, and he's giving you medications forever. That's not curing anybody. You're getting addicted to Vicodin or Oxycodone. And not only that, the real tragedy is you get hard-working men, and they have a back injury, a legitimate back injury, and they want to go back to work, and because of the runaround and the one doctor, another doctor, and pain medication, blah, blah, and lack of focus, they go on disability for six months, and now they're sitting home watching TV and drinking beer. And pretty soon they don't want to go back to work. And now their back is much, much worse. Because the worst thing you can do is not use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Okay, so the next one, next. Okay, here, I've injected, now we're up. Now we're rebuilding all the ligaments. And that's the answer. Now this is where I need to have chiropractors work with me. Is because while they're healing, they got to maintain their alignment.
I had a doctor that wanted to do back surgery on me, but I had to sign this thing saying that I may never walk again. You know?
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
you think it's that way?
I was like,
How about-
are you out of your mind? So I've been living with this pain for like 30 years.
Come to see me.
Yeah, I'm going to.
But the thing is, no, the thing is, the results of orthopedic surgery are horrible. And why? Is because they're not solving the problem. Ligamentous, tendons, and cartilage.
Can you give him a shot to make him less ugly?
Actually, with the new research that's coming out, this may be one of these days of well, for instance, estrogen in women, testosterone in men makes the skin thicker, okay? Collagen and elastin, so without the wrinkles, and we got, next one, okay, we're gonna move on. Got a lot of stuff. Okay, again, chiropractor, and she was here, that was my ex-wife. Okay, now here's something that I was a pioneer in. This is and I'm putting this patient to sleep. This is, I don't know if you've seen this. This is manipulation under anesthesia. There are some people that are so tender that you can't really manipulate them, right? They resist you. So when you put them to sleep, all resistance is gone. So I was the first one in Southern California to bring this technique. Go ahead. Sleep, and now, this is the course that I was teaching. When they're asleep, then the chiropractors can maneuver you and get rid of two. First of all, you have, a lot of times you'll have, if it's older injury, you have a lot of scar tissue. So you got to tear that up. It's very painful. And also you have spasmodic muscle. Both those are addressed here under anesthesia. And this is the course that I taught. All right. Did you know that? Did I taught? Okay. Okay. Oh, here. Here, I've lectured on different aspects of medicine all over the world. Here I am in Brazil, and the reason I have this here, because in 1985, I had another big disconnect. I'm sitting in exactly the same place I am today. And I spoke out in 85. This is, we were at the University of Brazil, I was a professor there for a while, and teaching blood-free surgery, blood-free techniques. And by chance, it turns out, I was, as an anesthesiologist, I was referred to a Jehovah's Witness patient. But nobody else, no anesthesia wanted to put her to sleep because her blood level was low. So my surgeon friend, Dr. Lappin, his friend, you got to put her to sleep. We got to stop the bleeding, or she's going to die anyway. And he says, anyway, let's go. Now, boom. We did it, and lo and behold, this is 81. Now, every Jehovah's Witness in the country is coming to us. I mean, we're getting referrals from Wayne State, Mayo Clinic, all over the world. And when I started doing that, I had to learn how to do it as safely as possible. Anyway, I came up with techniques that allowed my team, that's the president of the International College of Surgeons, my team to do any kind of surgery, heart, hip, whatever, without blood. Okay? And this is kind of scary. When I went to look at the library, got to find out how to do this safely. I looked for previous information that people had done this. You know how much information there was for people that previously had done severe anemia with anesthesia? How much?
None.
0. I was the first. And so what I had, and it kind of sounds kind of inappropriate, but I had Jehovah's Witnesses. I had human guinea pigs. I don't know if you know Jehovah's Witnesses. They will die rather than take blood.
Take blood.
So I was able to test all the parameters.
None of them died of AIDS transplants, though, either, right from the blood.
Exactly. Well, I'll get to that. So anyway, next slide. Okay, here are the techniques I developed, and now these techniques are used in every OR, every progressive OR. Aggressive monitoring, hypertensive anesthesia, hemodilution, head of start, cell saver. Okay, the way medicine is practiced today in the operating room, I have a lot to do with it. And that's how I got my Ph.D. Wrote 22 papers. Okay, I'm bragging now, but let's go. Next. Okay, here's the time I was in another big disconnect, 1985. And I'm involved with blood. And I was president of the Academy of Bloodless Surgery and Medicine. And so I knew about blood. And so in 81 to 85, I developed all my techniques. And in 85, now nobody wants blood. Why? 85 is AIDS. And so with these techniques that I developed on Jehovah's Witnesses, I was invited all over the world to lecture at different medical schools and talk about my techniques. And that was great fun. We're talking Rio de Janeiro, Argentina, Rotterdam, and Hadassah in Jerusalem. Oh, it was had a great time. And anyway, now I'm presented with the same thing I'm presented with now. Big disconnect. The Red Cross was saying in 1985 the blood supply was safe. And I was trained as a bacteriologist immunologist, as my undergraduate degree at UCLA. And I knew what they were doing. The Red Cross was testing for the antibody to the AIDS virus. Well, it just so happens if you have AIDS, your immune system is depressed. So you may not make the antibody. So they were saying, because they got a negative test on the blood, the patient did not have AIDS, when indeed they may have the AIDS virus and no antibody. So I saw this. And so I went, well, this is the LA Times, ABC News, Orange County Register. I yelled at the top of my lungs. What?
10 minutes.
10 minutes what?
You're done.
Okay, well, when I'm done, I'm done.
So you might want to share some of those treatments you do.
Oh, God. Anyway, bottom line is, I saw a disconnect. And so I went to I said, the blood supply is not safe. And guess who was right? Okay? Thousands of people got AIDS. Because the Red Cross kept insisting that the blood supply was safe, but I knew it wasn't. Anyway, so I'm at the same place today. I see so many disconnects.
And they're trying to protect their own interests.
Next. Yeah, it's all about money. Okay, this is an example. Tramadol, it's a homeopathic. After 6 months of chronic pain, superior results to Vioxx and Celebrex, all the NSAIDs, superior results, no side effects. Okay. That's out there. Do you think you're going to hear about that in the paper or anything? Okay, next slide. Okay, this is acupuncture. Oh gosh, I got to get into energy medicine real quick. Okay.
You do acupuncture also?
Yeah. I spent 2 years studying oriental medicine. Okay. Very, very important. As much as I don't like orthopedic surgeons, there was one guy that was really cool. His name was Bo Becker. And he was trying to discover why fractures of the bone did not heal. And he studied all the other medical traditions, Ayurvedic, Oriental, whatever, as I have. And he found that in Indian medicine, 5,000 years ago, they were treating fractures with magnets. And now you see everybody wearing magnets. Well, this is one of the major bits of information that I learned in my career. He proved it in 1987. I didn't get the information until the early 90s. He proved that the body heals, the whole body heals through electromagnetic. What is it about magnets cause healing? It's the electromagnetic energy, the field. And he proved, this is proof, it's not up for debate. This is how you heal. When the electromagnetic energy coming from the outer coverings of your nerve cells. Proved it. Well, now, somebody read that and they go, oh, yeah, I read that and they go, wow, that explains everything. That explains, well, you know your physics. When you have an electrical current, you have a coexisting electromagnetic field. Right? Michael knows. Okay, so that explains why we know when somebody's behind us. We're in contact with their field. And our field goes to the end of the universe. Okay? And so, does this explain mental telepathy, intuition? Yeah, we're picking up from other people's fields. Well, the Chinese were way ahead at this point. They say that we all have this protective aura. You've heard this before. And that has to deal a lot to do with health. Health, and most important, mental health. Chinese believe one of the major causes of disease is negative thought. Puts a hole in your aura. Next slide. Okay, now we're going to talk about aesthetic medicine. Okay, after I came up with a protocol for healing myself, I said, well, now I got to look good. And I have no, sorry, this is the best I can do. I haven't had any nip type yet. Go ahead, next. So I do aesthetic medicine, and I have some of the latest therapies for peels, etc. In fact, we have to talk about this peel I have an idea for. Okay, next. Okay, I actually have the best peel from Dr. Khalil. He's a friend of mine in Miami. And this peel, okay, peels are one of the things I do, but that really work, no side effects. People always love peels. Why? As you get older, your skin loses the ability to get rid of old skin. So the best thing you do is not put tons of creams and stuff that never gets to that dead layer. The best thing you do is take off the skin. So Dr. Khalil, my friend, he developed a peel. No, that's the exciting thing about this peel, no downtime. Okay? And his concept is so simple. Anyway, I know the ingredients. I want to make it better because I'm going to add homeopathics to it. Anyway, no downtime. Reason? He uses 4 different acids. Most people use a very severe acid. You look like a mummy, you know, and then 2 weeks later, you're out. And it's beautiful. You ever seen somebody have severe skin is beautiful. The idea, when you take off the old skin, you're going to put in new skin, that's baby skin. Peel is the best thing you can do for your skin, facial skin. Get rid of the old skin, get new skin. I have the Khalil peel, and I didn't develop it, but I have it. Go ahead, next. Here's, hi Jack. Okay, I make an announcement tonight. He was a drum beater, he was my guru. He was 50 years ahead, and when he died, his message was still 50 years ahead. Weight resistance training, and man makes it, don't eat it. Okay? And he overdid it though. He worked out 2 hours a day. But I decided, because I have nothing better to do, I am going to take up the gauntlet. The major cause of morbidity, mortality, and suffering is lack of information. A lot of it's what I'm giving you. And so I'm going to take up the gauntlet, and I personally am going to try to get the message out and heal whatever. And you know, and the drug companies will hate me. Big pharma's going to hate me. Big agri's going to hate me. Can you imagine some doctor saying, "Don't eat bread, don't have dairy"? I might be assassinated. It doesn't matter. I'm sick and tired and I can't stand it anymore. And hey, I'm not the only.
Oops.
Holy cow! I guess we're done.
9:30.
Oh, I didn't even get into energy medicine.
9:30?
No, that was mean.
Oh, come on. Okay. So that's
So you
okay.
would say if it's white, it ain't right, right?
It's white ain't right. There you go.
There you go. It's white, it ain't right.
If it's brown, let it stick around.
It's brown, it's different.
Okay, so anyway, that's okay. Here's my message. I want to heal you. I want to heal the world with just information, and I'm willing to spend my time and any venue you can think of. Copy. And the reason I'm having this tape is copies are going to Suzanne Summers and Tom Cruise. I did meet them both, and also to Obama, who I do not know. I could cut his medical thing in half in 30 days. How would that be? And we're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar fat cow that's bloated, ineffective, and poor.
But the pharmaceuticals are controlling him too.
No, they'll shoot me. Because how are they going to stop me?
Yeah, don't say it lightly because they could.
First Amendment, oh yeah, I'm going to tell them to stop their trillion-dollar business.
Right.
Okay. Well, here's one that'll really frost you. The Premarin, known carcinogen. Provera, known carcinogen. The American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology today are still saying their doctors should use Premarin and Provera. When it's been proven they cause cancer, I'm saying today that you can do the same, get the same natural hormones safely and eliminate the menopausal symptoms. It's that simple. And yet, you know, that's what I'm up against. Anyway, I expect all you guys to be recruited into the Army. And if you can find, right, anybody I will talk to, I'll give my time, I'll talk to anybody, get the message out, and no one can really argue with me. Because everything I'm saying has already been proven. It's that simple. Okay, next. Bye, Jack, I love you. Okay, aesthetic medicine, next. Basically, you know, what we want to do is we want to do aesthetic medicine. What I want to do is I want to make you look better, and some of the things I do with this radius, I can get rid of these wrinkles, very easy. Just fill them in using a natural product. It's called radius. It's basically it's from the bone, and what you use is you put it into the creases, and then the body fills in with the collagen and elastin. It lasts about a year and a half. So here's a new thought. See, what I have done is I have a replacement for all the other aspects of medicine. Okay? Plastic surgery, got a difference. Take care of the, do the Botox for the wrinkles up here, do the radius for here, Botox here and here, and then the peel. And it's pretty good right there. And the thing is, you do it every 6 months. Pretty soon, it's like a renewal. You just keep doing it. You go get a plastic surgery, sometimes you look like a turtle. Well, I don't care, that's the same thing with doing hair transplants. The most important thing is you want natural, okay? And so once you're done the plastic surgery, you're stuck.
Yeah.
With me, I can go back, fill a little bit more, whatever, do another peel. Next. Okay, so here's the results, before, after. Next. Okay, here is major breakthrough.
How do you pronounce that?
Phosphatidylcholine. Okay. Women put on fat right there in the tummy, men too, and also hip, side of the thighs, right here, in between here, and sometimes across the bra line. Okay, and men, they have glove handles and all that stuff. And you know what? I did 1,000 push-ups or sit-ups, whatever. You never get rid of it. Okay, Frenchmen. Okay, if you eat fat, normally your gallbladder will secrete a substance called phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine goes into the bowels, dissolves the fat, you absorb it. Okay, that's normal. Phosphatidylcholine is a normal substance. Everybody has it. Frenchman says, why not take this normal substance that can't hurt you and inject it into those areas that you have the love handles, It dissolves it. So basically, I have the ability, and most of the people I deal with for this are the bodybuilders. They're working out like crazy, but I don't have any. They have this little spare tire. I can get rid of it. I can actually sculpture the body. Okay, and I'm not going to tell who I've done here on. Anyway, next. Okay, this is just a skin treatment, and there's different layers of skin. Let's go. Okay, again, and also this the mesotherapy is also good for like a double chin. Next. Okay, but here I can sculpt a bubble butt. But this goes along with proper diet and exercise. Put it all together. Okay. And I'll sculpt you down. You're on a good diet. Then you go off on a binge. You get away from the program. You get it back. But you know what? That's better than if you had liposuction. Liposuction, they take the fat away. It's gone forever. Now you're a naughty boy or girl. You put the fat back on. It comes out under your arm or your neck. Not good. Okay. Oh, guess who?
Is that you?
Yeah, it's me. See, you see the love handles there?
I see it, man. Gone.
Okay. And notice the thinning. Yeah, there you go. Not bad, huh? For a 68-year-old. Okay. Enough of me. That's me 3 years ago. Okay. Starting to get thin there. I was getting nervy. Okay. So just with. How about now, guys? Like that?
Yep.
Okay. Went to the books, came up with a protocol that includes nutraceuticals, prescription medication, and laser treatment. Laser is a no-brainer. Why? There's 3 different stages of hair growth. First is the anagen phase, rapidly growing. That's where you want your hair to be. Then there's the catagen phase. He's my hair. He's a specialist in hair. He taught me a lot. He's my Beverly Hills office. The catagen phase, which is kind of like a dormant phase, and then there's a telogen phase, where the hair just gets thinner, doesn't grow at all, and eventually becomes fuzz and you lose it. So, no-brainer. You go to lasers, and lasers, they have their effect at any level you want. So you stimulate the roots to go into the anagen phase. Anyway, that nutraceuticals, and my hair's doing pretty good. Okay,
And
next.
it's not gray, or is that, do you dye it?
What?
Do you dye it, or is it?
I do dye my hair.
Okay. So it's there, but it's just gray.
Natural for men. Natural for men. No. Okay. Here's some. Now, so there's a lot of things you can do without surgery, but here's surgery. Okay. There's surgery. I love doing surgery because I pay patients. See, just by, the priority is always frame the face with single hairs. Single hairs looks natural. Go ahead. And then fill in the rest, the best possible. And I have people come to me for hair transplants, and we're not that busy. We're not that busy at all because of the economy. And so what we've done is we do as good a job as anybody in town, because I see all their work. Why? Because they come to me because I'm cheaper, less expensive. So we're doing hair transplants for $2,500, where our competition is $10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah. So my dad said, half a loaf is better than no loaf.
Right.
So, and I like to be busy. So, plus I meet a lot of friends here. You know, fun. Okay, next. This is some of my work. Next. Next. I think we're getting toward the end. Oh, so okay. Stress, subtle signs. Okay, stress is bad. Okay, we're gonna really quickly get into mind control, how to stay in a state of conscious bliss in a non-thinking reality. You go, why do I want to be in a non-thinking reality? Well, it just so happens that all the sages, Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tse, Muhammad, Krishna, they all meditated. Why did they meditate? They meditated to come to a non-thinking reality. When you're in the present, not thinking, you're part of life. That's real where you should be. And I have a theory, it hasn't been proven yet. It sort of has. That in the non-thinking reality, that's what athletes call the zone. Okay? And in that zone, they do amazing things. Like when Kobe Bryant's doing his thing, or when a virtuoso, violinist or ballerina, when they're really doing their thing, they're not thinking. Okay, here's the proof. They've now proven that you cannot reflex fast enough to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So these super athletes are not only totally in the zone, but they're able to go into the future a little bit. That's kind of scary or whatever. But that's okay. Next. Okay, they found out that when you have psychiatric neurological problems, you have more activity in the left brain than the right brain. Okay? University of Wisconsin, they found that by walking, and if you notice when you walk, you go contralateral, right leg, left arm. Okay. Now, what their thought is that by walking or running, and they proved it, they showed that you balance the electrical energy, and the patients got better. Anyway, long and short of it, patient has depression, psychiatric problems. First number one thing, give them a good diet, exercise them. Exercise them. Next, okay, meditation. Like I said, all the sages meditated. I've been meditating since 1979. Maybe that's why I'm here. Because, now why is the meditative state so good? Well, I proved at UCLA that using transcendental meditation, that when you're in the meditative state, it's actually more resting than the deep sleep state. Also, a lot of positive hormones are secreted. Okay? Now, the meditative state, zero state. This is, all the religions talk about the zero state of being. And a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about, zero state. I like dealing with athletes, because once you've really worked out hard, I can remember sitting myself on the bench after a 5-set tennis match or playing football, and whoa, I'm sitting there, and you know you feel great. Well, okay, it's the endorphins, number one, but also the other reason you feel great is because you're not thinking. Very pleasant to be a non-thinker, to be a lizard on a rock. See, we have been conditioned, that's the word, into thinking, left brain. Well, here, this will knock your socks off. The left brain can only digest 7 bits of information per second. The right brain digests 3 million bits of information per second. Example of how it works. You're driving along, okay? And also you're thinking about whatever, and also you realize you're in heavy traffic, you go, wow, I haven't been thinking about driving. Well, guess who was driving for you? Right brain. And even if it's an emergency, you stop. That's the right brain. You don't need to be thinking all the time. And thinking all you can think about, this I figured out myself, all you can think about is previously recorded material. That's all you can think about. And that's generally guilt, or you extrapolate into the future, that's fear. So, when you're thinking about, actually, the ideal state of being is a non-thinking reality. Okay? And where do we get any evidence for this? Who's in a non-thinking reality? I first started off as a pediatrician. When I saw 2- and 3-year-old children, I knew they had something that I didn't have anymore. And what they have is they're totally in the present. They're in a non-thinking reality. And everything is interesting to them. They're just like, wow, let's go play dollies, you know, whatever. You know? And now, where do we get more evidence for this? Nicodemus asked Jesus. I'm going to use all religions, but this is a good example. Nicodemus asked Jesus, how do we get to heaven, dear Lord? He says, you must enter as a child. What's a child? A non-thinking reality. That's heaven. And so when I tell people that, they go, oh, in fact, I have trouble with my mother too, because you know, it's a totally devoid concept. But the purpose of all meditation, by all the sages, Jesus, Buddha, all of them, they meditate to come into a non-thinking reality. When you're in a non-thinking reality, magical things happen. When you live in a non-thinking reality, okay, well, again, remember I said all the old sayings are correct. Okay? You heard the one, God takes care of fools, drunks, and children. They're all in a non-thinking reality. They're just there. Anyway, it's interesting, and it works for me, okay? And then, you know, the prefrontal cortex, that was made so that you have a problem, you turn it on, you turn on the computer, you figure it out, and then you turn it off. The problem is, we turn it on, we never turn it off. 80 to 90% of all disease is associated with chronic stress. Chronic stress raises the cortisol level, keeps you fat, keeps you unhappy. And now I'm going to teach you, well, I call it the Garcia two-step. Okay, now we know what we're talking about, zero state, non-thinking reality. Does anybody understand that? Okay, that's the desired place to be. Okay, and I've used this technique with patients, and some of them get it right away. Anyway, I'll tell you a true story. A patient, she's not here, but in Northridge, she was the type of person that's always kind of like down in the dumps. So I went to her, grabbed her by the arm. I says, the only thing that can hurt you are your thoughts. And I don't want you to have any more negative thoughts. And then I went on to see a patient, didn't see her again, came back following me. I'll go say, Dr. Garcia, what did you tell, I'm not going to say her name. I'd forgotten. So I went and I said, what's going on? She said, oh, Dr. Garcia. She says, what you told me last week was the easiest thing I've ever done. No one ever told me that I didn't have to worry, think less of myself, or worst possible scenario. And I just stopped and changed my life. Well, you know, in one sense, I felt, geez, I didn't get there for 30 years meditating. She got there in 10 seconds. But then brings in the Buddha. Right thought, right action, clean body, clean mind. And this is what I love. Pain is your best friend, because it tells you what you shouldn't do. And she'd had enough pain, and she just, that's it. Okay, ooh. Anyway, so here's how I'm gonna heal the world. I'm gonna teach people how to clean their body, so that they become. See, the body is, and I just got to prove it to you. We're a semiconductor receiver of energy. And so, I'm going to teach people how to clean their body and how to focus energy. And this is my hope and my theory of how people can self-heal. First of all, through knowledge, they're going to eat the right things. And then, I'm going to teach them how to focus energy and then teach them the common meridians. Now, for instance, everybody, you press here, it hurts. Press right here, it hurts everybody. That, the reason, right where the elbow, okay? Why? That's the lung meridian. And if you live in Southern California, your lungs are stressed. That hurts. So, here's what I do. I teach people how to clean their body, focus energy, and then run meridians. You have a cold, they have heart meridian. Oh, I'm going to say it anyway, but it's kind of funny. You know how they always say, pull my finger? Well, that just happens to be the large intestine meridian. So when they pull your finger and you pass gas, that's the reason. I'm sorry, I gotta tell you something else good. It's really cool. Okay, I gotta tell you something. Okay, hormones.
I do that to my wife all the time.
Hormones. This is the latest research. Hormones may be responsible for love, I already told you about testosterone being the hormone of desire. But now, this is so cool, they've discovered this. There are 2 times in a woman's life that she secretes oxytocin. Oxytocin is a female hormone. She secretes it when she has a baby, and it's one of the things that causes the uterus to contract and stop the bleeding. And immediately, that hormone, they've proven this, that hormone immediately attaches her to that baby. And within 3 minutes, because they release that hormone, she'll give her life to that baby. The hormone, oxytocin. Now, another time she secretes it is when she has a climax. So she knows, Mother Nature's saying, that's the right guy. Hormones. Dopamine is what's secreted when you see someone and they giggle or whatever happens. Dopamine. Serotonin is released when you eat carbohydrates. Serotonin is the same thing as in Paxil, Zoloft, whatever. It's the fuzzy, okay? And so hormones are very important, and they can be, no matter what you've heard, they can be given safely to men and women. And with the new longevity, people are living to be 70, 80, whatever. So the women, they're out of hormones at 50, or we stop working. So let's say they live another 30, 40 years. Men, they're starting to really get suppressed in their 40s. So with all this misinformation, people are afraid to have their hormones replaced. Hormones are basically how we feel. They affect our muscle development. They affect everything. Stamina, joy. What else? Anyway, so, okay, and then we talked about the 2-step. Okay, 2-step. So you're at 0 station, negative thought A comes up. So now, what you don't know, and what this one patient figured out real quick, is in the beginning, you have no defense against negative thought A. But we all have the power to prevent negative thought A going to negative thought B, C, D, all the way down to Z, each one causing a negative effect on our body and our mind and our serenity. So, what I call this 2-step, negative thought A comes up, you don't hide your head in the sand. No, you make the phone call, you address whatever the problem is. And then you forget about it, okay? You do what's necessary, and then you forget about it. But under no circumstances, you let negative thought A go to B, C, D, all the way down to Z. You have that power. And after a while, the head gets tired of fighting. And you win the war. I've won the war, I've won the war 15 years ago. And so I chop my head whenever I want. And so it's very pleasant. And you tell people, I go, crazy. Yeah, I love it. Sometimes I do hair transplants in Beverly Hills, and when I have a break, I'll run down to Venice. I'll just sit on a bench or wherever, and I'll watch kids being at 0 station. For me, that's a yuck. You know, it all depends. Anyway, so 0 station. Now, okay, but now we're going to talk real quickly about God. Okay, now, in the Bible, well, in the Jewish religion, it says God is behind the curtain. Don't even think about it. You know, you can't comprehend God. In Christianity, in the Bible, it says, be silent and know that I'm God. It says that in the Bible. Be silent means no thinking. I think it means that. And then the purpose of Buddhist meditation is to come to the black wall. 0. See, it's a complete flip-flop. What we think is most important. You going?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, yeah, go ahead. That's my daughter, and she's doing great. Okay, really. A little side on her. She's 16. What? You can go.
That big close you were going to do.
Big close.
Big close.
You want me to do a stand on my head? No. I got some important stuff to say. You know, you guys can leave anytime you want.